Hi everybody, my name is Rupa. I am working as Assistant Professor in Chevron Engineering College in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I am dealing the subject renewable energy sources. Today's topic is energy balance equation. Until then, we see lot of terms and these are the important terms we have to learn for further discussions. The first term is transmissivity. This is the dimensionless term and it is called the fraction of incoming solar radiation which reaches the absorbing surface. It is measured in fraction. It is a fraction of incoming solar radiation which reaches the absorbing surface. Second one is absorptivity. It is denoted by alpha. This is also dimensionless as transmittivity. So again this is the fraction of solar energy reaching the surface that is absorbed. So how much of solar energy is absorbed? We are getting so much of solar radiation. Out of that, what is the rate of, what is the fraction of solar energy that is absorbed by the absorbing plate? What is the absorbing plate we are putting? So either glass or some substance. The amount of solar energy absorbed by the surface is called as absorptivity. This is denoted by alpha and this is also dimensionless. Next one is tau alpha E. In previous equation, at suffix E, we have seen one term, tau into alpha. This is the effective transmittance absorptance product of a cover system. Okay, this is the effective transmittance absorptance product for a cover system. This is calculated for both beam and diffuse radiations. This effective transmittance absorption is calculated for both beam and diffuse radiations. And next one is UL, capital U suffix L. This is the overall heat loss coefficient. Overall heat loss coefficient is denoted by UL. It is the, actually strictly speaking, it is the rate of heat transfer to the surroundings per meter square. Okay, it is the rate of heat transfer to the surroundings per meter square of exposed collector surface per degree Celsius temperature. Okay, rate of heat transfer to the surroundings of exposed collector surface. Okay, this is the difference between average collector surface temperature and surrounding air temperature. This can also be called like this. Okay, surface difference between the average collector surface and the surroundings. So it is measured in watts per meter square degrees Celsius. And other way of measuring it is kilocalories per hour meter square degrees Celsius. Next term is TP. This is the average temperature of upper surface of the observer plate. So solar radiation is getting absorbed by the absorber plate. So at what temperature the absorber plate is there? It is the measure of average temperature of the upper surface. So it is also, as it is a temperature, it is also measured in degrees Celsius. And the last term is TA, it is the atmospheric temperature. It is also measured in degrees Celsius. Atmosphere temperature is measured in degrees Celsius. So this is the figure showing here at down. This figure is shown. This is the definition sketch for equation 1 in page number 2.19. You can refer before equation 1. So these are all the terms what I have said now. Okay, so this is the first one is we are getting total solar radiation we are getting here. So how much of solar radiation is measured? It is the transmittivity. Sorry, it is the total solar radiation. And reflection losses means how many reflection losses we are getting. This is the reflective loss. And this one is the these two plates will be absorbing the solar radiation what we are getting. This is absorption. And somewhat loss is going on for in the account of radioactive losses. So these are the radiation losses or radioactive losses. And this is the convection losses. Total we are having thermal losses of 3 types: convection, conduction and radiation losses. Out of this, first one is conduction loss. Due to the insulation we are getting some loss from the insulation. It is conduction loss. And convection loss, this is the convection loss which you are getting from the upper glass. And radiation loss, by using the materials what you are using, you are losing some thermal energy. This is radiation loss. So these are the TA, atmospheric temperature here. This is TA, atmospheric temperature. Okay, and this is the TP. This is the average temperature of the upper surface. Okay, next this is the insulation used. This is the insulation used. This is the bottom of the collector. This is the fluid passage. Liquids water will be passing here. This is absorption plate. This is lower glass and upper glasses. This is the definition sketch for equation 1 in page 2.19. So that equation is, example I am saying QU is equal to one equation you have derived. TU is equal to AC HR T tau into alpha into E minus UL TP minus T alpha. So regarding this equation, this is the definition of this. This is the sketch for the equation. From the above equations and from the above estimations and the diagram, we have stated that finally absorbed energy is equal to AC into HR into tau into alpha, and other one is effective heat loss. It is given as formula AC into UL into TP minus TA. So all these relations are shown in the above diagram. If you see before slide, you can understand. The performance of the solar collectors is as high as economical, practical design and operating factors that increase the HR, that is tau into alpha, in equation 1, and these reduce the value of UL TP minus TA are selected. So we are selecting the collector and the operating factors in order to increase HR tau into alpha and decrease the value of ULTP minus TA. Okay, so in that selection method, see this term HR into tau into alpha should be increased, and this term UL into TP minus TA, effective heat loss, should be decreased. This should be increased and this should be decreased, so that we are selecting the operating factors. So the greater the energy absorption in the metal surface, we are having lower the heat losses from the surface. So if we are getting lower heat losses, we are getting higher the useful recovery rate and efficiency. If you observe from equation If you observe from equation 1, losses decrease the difference between average plate temperatures. So this again average plate temperatures, because of the decrease in difference of average plate temperatures, 8 temperature automatically decreases. And this ambient 8 temperature, it is an uncontrollable factor. But it depends upon the facts that first one is it varies with the time, second one is it varies with the geographic location. So this ambient air temperature, though it is an uncontrollable factor, it depends upon the time and geographic location. So obviously the collector efficiency compulsory depends on these factors. So collector will be more efficient at the lower plate temperatures, and it is less efficient at higher plate temperatures. Okay, so it is efficiently working at lower plate temperatures than higher plate temperatures. So these lower and higher plate temperatures are different. These plate temperatures depends upon three conditions. First one is temperature of the fluid it is being circulated in contact with the tubes. First one is what is the temperature of the fluid that is circulating in the tubes. This circulating in the tubes fluid is in contact with the plate. So automatically the temperature of the fluid decides the plate temperature. And second one is rate of fluid circulation. So at what rate this fluid is circulated? With high speeds means we can attain high temperatures. With low speeds means we can attain low temperatures. And what is the type of fluid it is used? If we are using air, it is having one temperature and it is the plate is receiving other temperature. If it is a fluid, and what is the fluid? What is its consistency? We have to take into account. So the type of the fluid also decides the plate temperature, because the fluid tubes are adjacent to the plate. The temperature of the plate will be conformly depending upon the fluid, type of fluid and rate of fluid. Again, until now we discussed the plate temperature of the plate. It depends upon the fluid, mainly fluid. So this fluid will be dependent on other factors. So this fluid temperature will be depending on the conditions. First one is in the heat utilization system, whereas other factors in equation 1 depends upon the first one collector design, second one operating conditions, and third one solar energy input, and fourth one atmospheric temperature. So all the other terms in the first equation are dependable on these four conditions. So relating all these terms discussed above, the energy balance equation on the whole collector can be written as QU plus QL plus QS is equal to AC into HR tau into alpha B suffix B plus HR tau into alpha D. So what are these abbreviations you will see now, where QU, it is the rate of useful heat transfer to a working fluid. How much amount of heat is transferred to the fluid passing through the tubes from the solar radiations. So this is termed as solar heat exchanger. So from the solar radiations, heat is transferred to the fluid. So QU is the rate of useful heat transfer to a working fluid in the solar heat exchanger. And second one is QL. This is the QL means it is the rate of energy loss from the collector. So from the collector to where? To the surroundings. How? By re-radiation and convection and conduction. These all are through the supports for the absorber plate, through those supports for the absorber plate and so on, because these are connected to the absorber plate. This fluid is automatically beside the absorber plate. So this loss of energy from the conductor will be to the surroundings is by 3. These three are the thermal losses. What are the three thermal losses? Conduction, convection and radiation. So in this radiation, convection and conduction increases the rate of energy losses from the collector. And the losses due to reflection losses, if it is the, if the solar radiations are reflected back again in the reflections, there are some losses. So the losses due to this reflection from the covers are included in tau into alpha terms. These tau alpha terms gives the reflection losses. And last one, QS. This QS is rate of energy storage in the collector. Okay, how much in how much rate it is the energy is stored in the collector, it is defined as QS. And last is collector efficiency. This collector efficiency is denoted by neta C. This collector efficiency is nothing but the performance of the collector is the collector efficiency. So it is a value of ratio. Efficiency is conform output by input. So it is the value of ratio. So it is the value, it is the ratio of useful gain over any time period. If you consider any time period, in that time period, if you consider useful gain, so useful gain over any time period divided by incident solar energy over the same time period. What you have calculated for the numerator, we have to calculate the same time for the denominator also. So simply we can say useful gain by incident solar energy. So how much we are getting and how much you are using. It will give collector efficiency. This is energy balance equation and collector factors. Collector all the factors, all the efficiencies and collector factors. Until now, by theory, in the process of theory only, we are analyzing the thermal losses of the flat plate collector and what is the thermal heat, what is the conductive and radioactive heat, all are radioactive heat, all are seen up to now theory only. So from now we will practically discuss what is the value of the what is the value of the thermal losses, and all the thermal analysis is described in this flat plate collectors is discussed. So for this, consider a diagram. For this diagram, we are neglecting the temperature gradient in the flow direction. So considering we are considering two tubes, this is the sheet and these are the two tubes, and this is the, sorry, this is the tubes. Here it is not indicated, here it is indicated. This is the tube. Let us see the terms. The first one is W. Here W is not indicated. It is the distance between the tubes. W means the absorber plate length between the two tubes. Absorber plate length between the tubes. And DI, this is the inside diameter of the tube. And D, capital D, this is the outside diameter of the tube. Overall outside diameter of the tube D, and DI is the inside diameter, and this is the Xi is the sheet thickness. Xi is the sheet thickness. This is the sheet. Because we know that sheet material, it is a good conductor of temperature. The temperature gradient through the sheet can be neglected. So we cannot increase the complexity by accounting the temperature gradient of the sheet. We can neglect the temperature gradient. So we are considering a section of absorber plate with two adjacent fluid tubes. The temperature in plate TP, in first plate, will be varying in x direction. This is the x direction. And it is assumed that same distribution exists between any two tubes. There are number of tubes used there. So we are taking the assumption that same distribution will be existing, same temperature distribution will be existing between any two tubes. Also we are assuming other consideration. What is that? Also assuming that sheet above the bond to be at same local base temperature Tb. So Tb is the base temperature and Tp is the plate temperature. Okay, Tp plate temperature and Tb is the base temperature. So this base temperature is also assumed to be same. That means that above fluid tubes will be on the same base. So this base is having same temperature. The temperature will be constant, while in between the tubes and temperature will pass through a maximum value inside the tube. So when the fluid is flowing through the tubes, the temperature will be maximum and the base temperature will be constant for all the tubes. And see here, the region between the center line separating the tubes, the region between the center line separating the tubes and the tube base is called as fin, classical fin problem. Okay, the region between the center line separating the tubes and the tube base, downwards base, is called as fin, classical fin. So this is termed as classical fin problem, and fin length is W minus D by 2. This is called the fin length, fin, fin length, W minus D by 2, where W by 2 here indicates the distance from center of the collector to the center of the tube. This is the distance between the center of the collector to the center of the tube. So we are considering the heat transfer. Transfer of heat is done in x direction, this direction from left to right. Okay, transfer of heat is done in x direction. So for a elemental region of delta x, in next slide I will show all the elemental regions. So for a elemental region of some, we are taking for some distance delta x in a unit length, in this flow direction, the energy balance yields to be this is the energy balance equation. S into delta x minus UL delta x into T minus TA plus minus K xi d phi by dx for the limits x minus of minus K xi dt by dx under the limits of x plus dx is equal to 0. This is the energy balance equation in the x direction in the x direction flow and elemental region of delta x for a unit length is taken. So I can first equation becomes as S same as delta x plus UL. Here delta UL TA minus T. I am taking minus common here, so I am getting plus here. So here T minus TA becomes TA minus T. TA minus T into delta x. So here plus and minus becomes minus K xi d T by dx minus K xi dt d by dx. At the place of x, we am substituting t plus dt delta x. So whole expression I am taking delta x into delta x because it is differential of delta x limits. So is equal to 0, or this can be calculated. This can be we are getting the value of S delta x plus UL Ta minus T into delta x minus K psi dt by dx plus minus minus becomes plus here K psi. I am individually combining the dividing the equation and writing the value dt by dx. Here first term is dt by dx and second term is dt square. Again d square t, second order differential equation, we will get d square t by dx into delta x is equal to 0. So from this, if I transfer this one to the right hand side, it will become this equation. It will come to this equation, s into delta x plus ul ta minus t into delta x is equal to, these two terms will be cancelled, minus same value plus same value, so minus and plus will be cancelled, so is equal to, this term will be remaining and I am putting this into right hand side. So plus becomes minus, minus k delta, sorry, z d square t by dx, second order for differential, for second order term where I am taking x2 simply into delta x. See this slide, we can see the energy balance on filled element. This is the elemental region delta x. This is the elemental region delta x. This is the value of x and this, in this direction x will be there. This is the base temperature TB. This is the fin length W minus D by 2 and this is the insulating material. Second term, these terms will be, you are getting at the end of the equation. After final calculation you will get these terms. The equation continues here. Before equation it is S plus UL Ta minus T is equal to minus K del xi d square T by dx square. So this is not dx square, dx2. For representing as second order differential equation I am taking x2, or this can be written as d square t by dx square is equal to, only term I am keeping it in left hand side, remaining all I am shifting to right hand side. So this becomes ul by k delta k xi t minus ta, here minus becomes plus, so t minus ta minus s by ul. This is the second equation. So this above second equation is of second order differential equation. There are boundary conditions for the second order differential equation. First one is for dt by dx. If you put x is equal to 0, the whole term will be equal to 0. And second one for t, if you put from 0 to w minus d by 2, these are the limits. So first one, if you put x is equal to 0, we are getting 0. And second, for t, if you are putting x is equal to w minus d by 2, we are getting the base temperature Tb. And let us assume some terms so that we can simplify the equation 2. So I am assuming that ul by k xi, so this term as m square, and this whole term t minus ta minus s by ul as phi. Okay, so this is represented as, after these assumptions, equation 2 becomes, see here, d square phi by dx square in terms of phi minus m square phi is equal to 0. This is the third equation, and again this third equation can be having some boundaries. So what are the boundaries? Dy by dx at x is equal to 0, anything if you differentiate yt or psi, phi, it will be 0. And second boundary, if you differentiate as same as t, phi, with x is equal to w minus d by 2, we are getting here In previous we are getting TB, so T is replaced by TB. So TB minus TA minus S by UL. So these are the boundary conditions. Again we are substituting these boundary conditions. So after seeing the boundary conditions, the general equation we know of second order is x is equal to C1 sin h mx plus C2 cos h mx. Constants C1 and C2 can be found by substituting the boundary conditions. So differentiating the above equation 4, this one is stated as 4. This one is stated as 4. If you differentiate this fourth equation, so d phi by dx is equal to c1 sin becomes m here mx is there, so m becomes for m will be coming front, whatever it is there it will be kept here. So m cos h mx plus c2 m sin h mx. So this is the answer for differentiation of fourth equation. And condition here also, boundaries if you apply, d phi by dx is equal to 0 at if you put x is equal to 0. So if you put x is equal to 0, this c1 term becomes 0. C1 term becomes 0 here. So for the second condition, if we apply this condition for this xi, at the last boundary we are having phi is equal to TB minus TA minus S by UL, that is equal to C1 term becomes 0 here. Okay, so here C1 terms becomes 0. So remaining term C2 cos H mx W minus D by 2. So from this I can write C2 is equal to like this TB by denominator. This becomes in this will go for left side. So TB minus TA minus S by UL by cos H m sorry here x is not there, m into W minus D by 2. So if you substitute this C2 value, C1 is 0 and we are getting C2 value. If you substitute this C2 value in equation 4, it becomes T value will be T minus TA minus S by UL and phi value will be TB minus TA minus S by UL. So these values are obtained in before slide from the boundaries, and remaining is cos H mx and C2 place in place of C2 cos H m W minus D by 2. So we are getting fifth equation. And after the fifth equation, you are assuming other condition that the energy conduct to the region of the tube per unit of length in flow direction x is given by the fin base. You are taking the fin and we are calculating the fin base, energy of fin base. So it is denoted by q dash. So q dash is fin base is equal to minus k xi dt by dx at the limit the value of x is equal to omega w minus d by 2. So if you substitute this, what will happen? You will see in next slide. So from equation 5, dt by dx can be written as tb plus ta minus s by ul into m sin h mx by cos m w minus d by 2. So before I set the condition for q dash, that is the fin base minus k xi dt by dx, where x is equal to w minus d by 2. So if you substitute that value of fin base, we can get k del k xi dt by dx means you have to substitute this value. So this value becomes, if you take common ul, so s minus ul gets cancelled here, s minus ul into tb minus ta. Here we are writing s before, so minus value becomes minus value will be getting before. If you are making it minus of minus, here you are getting minus. So s minus UL into TB minus TA, sin by cos will become tan H W minus D by 2 M. Okay, this is treated as we are making it as sixth equation. This sixth equation will be accounting for the energy collected to only one side of the tube. We are having a tube two sides. So for both the sides multiply with 2, just multiply the sixth equation with 2. So Q fin base is equal to 2 into K xi m by UL, and remaining all the terms same, S minus UL into TB minus TA tan HM W minus D by 2. M I am transferring to this side. So if you make the expression more simplifier by assuming the term, we know that m square is equal to UL by Kzi. So in the place of UL by Kzi, I can put 1 by m square, and K xi m by UL is 1 by m. So there 1 by m square into m. 1 m will be cancelled in the denominator and remaining other m will be remaining. So 2 by m into same expression. This will not be changed. Only by these assumptions m will be, we are getting 1 by m. S minus UL TB minus TA into tan HM W minus D by 2. So after that, if you take common W minus D by 2, take outside W minus D by 2, we will get 2 into W minus D by 2, S minus UL TB minus TA tan H M W minus D by 2 by MW D minus M into W minus D by 2. So here, as I am taking common m into W minus D by 2, here 1 m will be cancelled, upper and numerator. Here numerator I am taking common m into W minus D by 2. So one numerator on numerator m will be there, and in denominator also m is there. They both get cancelled and only W minus D by 2 will be remaining. So 2 into W minus D by 2, and remaining I am taking common, so divided by m into, here I will get m into W minus D by 2, but for my simplification I can write here. So this becomes 2 get cancelled, W minus D into, simply I am writing this term as all the term, simplifying and writing the assuming the term as F capital F S minus UL TB minus TA. So as I am assuming f is equal to tan h m W minus D by 2 by m into D by D minus m into W minus D by 2. This f is called, this is the ratio, this ratio